In the crucible of 11th century Spain, where Christian kingdoms clashed with the Moorish tide, a legend was about to be forged. Born Rodrigo Diaz de Vivar, a mere babe swaddled in the tumultuous year of 1043, destiny held a grander tapestry in store. History might etch his name as a noble Castilian knight, but legend, a far grander weaver of tales, would crown him LCD, the Lord Champion whose name would echo through the ages. Rodrigo blossomed under the harsh tutelage of King Ferdinand I. The clang of steel against steel became his lullaby, the battlefield his nursery. Victories followed, each one a brushstroke painting his name on the canvas of his men's hearts. Yet, unlike the rigid knights of his era, Rodrigo possessed a restless spirit, a hunger for glory that transcended the confines of a single king. He ventured beyond the borders of loyalty, becoming a mercenary, his sword a tool for hire to the highest bidder, even the Moorish rulers of Zaragoza. Then, the earth trembled. King Ferdinand, his life a flickering candle, breathed his last, leaving behind a fractured kingdom, a prize ripe for the taking by his ambitious sons. Rodrigo, bound by an oath of fealty to Sancho II, the eldest, plunged into the ensuing war. Brother fought brother, the land weeping crimson tears. Blood stained the very air as treachery and ambition duelled on the battlefield. Yet, victory, a fickle mistress, finally perched on Sancho's banner. But fate, a cruel puppeteer, had another act planned. A shadow of suspicion fell upon Alfonso VI, Sancho's cunning younger brother, as the victor met a swift and mysterious demise. The Song of My Cid, an epic poem whispered into existence generations later, painted a scene both chilling and captivating. In its verses, Rodrigo, his loyalty unwavering, accused Alfonso of fratricide, a sin that stained the new king's soul. Enraged and fearing further accusations, Alfonso banished Rodrigo, a sentence that echoed like a death knell. Separated from his beloved wife Jimena and their young children, Rodrigo, now El Cid of legend, set out on a path fraught with peril. His heart, a leaden weight in his chest, bore the burden of exile. Yet, El Cid was no ordinary man. Despair could not extinguish the fire in his eyes. He turned his blade towards the south, towards the Moorish kingdoms, his enemies and now his only source of sustenance. Victories followed, each one a defiant roar against the injustice he faced. Riches flowed from his conquests, a shimmering stream reaching the court of the very king who had ostracized him. It is said that Alfonso's heart, ever pragmatic, softened at the sight of the gold, a testament to LCD's prowess, or perhaps a flicker of guilt gnawing at the edges of his conscience. But the poem offered a different truth. It spoke of LCD, a warrior untainted by self-serving motives who fought only for the glory of Christian Spain. Years bled into one another, each sunrise painting the horizon with the promise of a new battle. LCD, a whirlwind of steel, carved a bloody swathe through the Moorish lands. Rumors of his exploits, whispered on the wind, reached every corner of the peninsula. Fear, a chilling serpent, coiled around the hearts of the Moorish emirs. Valencia, a jewel in the Moorish crown, trembled under the relentless siege of LCD's forces. Finally, after a grueling campaign etched in sweat and blood, the city fell. LCD, his banner a beacon of hope for Christians, established a bastion for Christian Spain in the heart of Moorish territory. It was here, amidst the echoes of triumph, that LCD finally reunited with his family, a balm for his exiled soul. Jimena, her face etched with the passage of years, wept tears of joy as she embraced her husband. Their children, now young adults, looked upon their father with a mixture of awe and trepidation, but a shadow loomed over this reunion. Whispers reached El Cid of potential suitors for his daughters, Dona Elvira and Dona Sol. History, however, scoffed at such embellishment. The poem, ever the dramatist, painted a picture of advantageous marriages arranged by El Cid for his daughters, unions with noble princes. In its stark reality, El Cid's daughters were to be married to lesser nobles, a far cry from the grand alliances sung by the bards. The final act of the epic unfolded with a heart-stopping betrayal. The poem, ever the master of suspense, painted a picture of LCD's sons-in-law, revealed to be craven cowards, mistreating his daughters, their cruelty a stain on their honor. LCD, his rage a storm brewing within, stormed the court of the king, demanding justice for his wronged family, with a voice that echoed through the halls of power. The weight of his exile, the years of bloody struggle, all boiled over in that moment. Alfonso, ever the shrewd politician, faced a dilemma. Here stood LCD, the man who had defied him, yet also the man who had carved a Christian kingdom out of the heart of Moorish Spain. To deny him justice would risk further rebellion, but to grant it would be an admission of weakness. Days bled into weeks, the air thick with tension. Whispers filled the court, some urging the king to appease LCD, others fanning the flames of resentment. Jimena, ever the pillar of strength by her husband's side, navigated the treacherous court politics with quiet grace, her presence a constant reminder of the wrong done to them. Finally, a decision was reached. Alfonso, playing a delicate game of power, agreed to a trial by combat. LCD, his weathered face etched with grim determination, would choose a champion to fight for his daughter's honor. The choice would be crucial. A victory would restore his honor and secure justice, but a defeat could spell further exile or even death. News of the trial spread like wildfire. Champions from across Christian Spain flocked to the court, eager for the prestige of fighting alongside LCD. Days were spent in rigorous training, the clang of steel a constant melody in the air. Finally, the day of the trial arrived. The air crackled with anticipation as the two champions, clad in gleaming armor, entered the designated arena. The crowd roared as the duel began. Steel clashed against steel, sparks flying in the midday sun. LCD's chosen champion, a young knight named Diego Ordóñez, fought with a ferocity born of loyalty and righteous anger. His opponent, the arrogant Count Gomez, fueled by a sense of entitlement, fought with a carelessness that would prove his undoing. The duel raged on, a brutal dance of death. Just when it seemed like Count Gomez might prevail, Diego Ordóñez landed a decisive blow, disarming his opponent and sending him sprawling to the dusty ground. A collective gasp rose from the crowd as the king declared Diego the victor. LCD, his weathered face breaking into a rare smile, embraced his champion. Justice had been served. His daughters, their honor restored, were free to choose their own husbands. But the victory came at a cost. The bitter taste of exile still lingered, a constant reminder of the injustice he had faced. News of LCD's triumph spread far and wide. His legend, already etched in the hearts of the people, grew even stronger. He became a symbol of unwavering loyalty, a beacon of hope in a time of strife. And while history might debate the details, the legend of LCD, the champion who defied a king and carved his own destiny, would echo through the ages, a testament to the enduring power of a warrior's spirit and the captivating whispers of myth.